Hey guys, this is Anthony Romrell, and in this video we're going to cover some of the basics of using Unity in the Unity editor. So if you're a Maya user, this will be pretty straightforward to you. You have lots of Maya key commands. If not, this will be kind of new, and that's okay. So introduce you to the Unity interface. So the first thing you're going to do is hold the Option key, and you've got tracking, and you have dolling. You don't have tumble in 2D mode, but if you go from 2D mode to 3D mode, you have the Option key and you have tumble, track, and dolly. Oh, well, it's not letting me because I'm in a 2D environment. That's okay. So, but similar to Maya, you'll hold the Option key and you'll get to move around in your screen. Now, first of all, I like to work in a completely different setting. So I'm going to change this setting to layouts and 2x3. And what it gives me is it gives me the scene view where I can work in Unity, and it also gives me a game view, so what I can see in the through the camera. And again, we're starting on a 2D project, which is fine. If you're in 3D, it's going to work very similarly, but this is a 2D project for now. So, so I went back to 3D. You are able to click and do the tumble. So tumble, track, dolly, just like Maya. But we're going to primarily work in 2D. So a couple things in your hierarchy. You have your main camera. Let's make sure your size is 5. And when we bring graphics in from the Pixel Adventure Pack, which you guys should do, make sure that you when you're using the Pixel Adventure Packs that you scale everything to a factor of 5. Right. So if I bring in this box, for example, I could either drop it in the hierarchy or the scene view, doesn't matter. You can see it's really small on the screen. So everything needs to be scaled to a factor of 5. Okay. And the reason for that is we can get into it, but it's the rate at which your character is going to move. And if we go smaller, their character will move way too fast. So this is just an easy way to remember it. So I just put any old sprite on the scene, doesn't matter. You're going to want to license these packs for this particular class. Even though it's here in the repository, you're going to want to license them. So we'll get to that in another video. But first I wanted to show you that we have our hierarchy view. In our hierarchy view, if you click on a game object is something in the scene. You can see we have an inspector with different components. So one of the major components is the transform component, in this case, a sprite renderer for a sprite. And then on the main camera has a transform and a camera and an audio listener. Some of these things we'll get to a little later in the class, but thought I'd get you started now. This view, this white border, this is your camera. This is what you see in your game. And then this is your game view. Right now, there's really nothing in your game to do, but we'll fix that. So, for example, we can add to this idle box. If we add a component, let's add a box collider. And make sure it's not 2D. It's going to seem kind of strange we're working 2D art, but we're going to be working with a bunch of 3D components too. So just a box collider will do. You'll see that if you click 2D, it has made a little box collider for us. Right? We'll click back on that 2D mode. And that's going to make it so that objects interact one with another with collisions. So not everything's going to need a box collider, but in this case, we want a box collider. Okay. And you can start to build out your scene however you want. To do that, just go through your adventure packs and find things you want. So like I can put out a background. So if I click and open up, you can see there's a sprite here. You can just drag this. There's a little background. Again, make sure you scale it to 5. Okay, so there's a background object. I'll add a box collider to it, not a 2D. Okay, remember those two things for this class is kind of an important thing to need. And then you're going to arrange them how you want. And then you could just duplicate it. Command D or Control D and just grab another one. Okay, you can also snap by holding the X key. Should be able to snap. No, it's not snapping. We'll figure that one out in another video. You can turn snapping on though, right? I can see it switching between local and global if I hit the X key. So that's a little different. I've got my Maya mindset going on right now. But you can see that all these objects have box colliders on them, and they all have sprites. What's cool about this is I can come over here and just instead of swapping an object, I can just swap the sprite. So I could come over here and click this little thing that says brown on it. And what I can do instead is put a blue one in. And now I've got a blue sprite. Probably want to change the name to blue. Okay. Or I can grab a green one. I can select this brown one here. Just hit enter to rename, call it green. Then just grab that green sprite, put it in that little area where it says green. So I now have 3 different sprites. They're the same. So add a little bit of variation. Okay. Probably want to rename this brown to just brown. And then you could duplicate them again by hitting Command D, or you can drag more sprites. You can go through the list. Now let's talk about getting these sprites licensed. So what we're going to do is go to the Unity Asset Store. Okay, so let's just head on over to a browser and let's go to assetstore.unity.com. Make sure you're logged into your Unity account. Okay, if not, come on over, hit sign in. Okay, and then once you've signed in, let's do a search for Pixel Adventure 1. And it's free, so go ahead and license it. So what you're going to do is click on Pixel Adventure 1 and then find Pixel Adventure 2 and say add to my assets. Once you do that, it's going to prompt you to log into your account. So here I go. I'm logging into my account. I've already added them, so I can just click this Open in Unity button, which I've already done. But just make sure you do that so that we use these legally, right? So we're going to say, to find Pixel Adventure 2, it's just on Pixel Frog. So click on Pixel Frog, and then you'll see Pack 2. I've already bought mine, but for you, it'll say Add to Assets. Click that. Then if you click the Unity button, it's going to prompt you to open this up. And for me, it says I've already done it. Let me just grab this prompt here. Sorry, my window's sometimes open off screen. So here it is. It appears in the package manager. It says it's in my project already, but I can re-download them if I'd like, or re-import. So if I do that, all it's going to do is open up an import Unity package, and I'll just say import. You see there's nothing new for me to do, so I'm not going to do it, but you certainly can. And when you're done, of course, really important thing, when you're done, let's say you're going to wrap it up for the day, you've done your work on the game class, let's save this scene, okay? And in this case, it's given me a prompt, it's off window, I've got a couple screens I'm dealing with, so make sure you put it in your assets folder, in your scenes folder, okay? And make sure that this is going to that Git repository. So in this case, make sure it's in your DAGV 1700. It's from your repo that you forked and cloned. It's in your adventure game. It's in your scenes folder. And you know what? Let's just call this a new game, for lack of a better term. It's fine. And we'll hit save. And you know what? We'll head on over to GitHub Desktop. And you can see there, it is added a few things. First of all, it has this log folder. I don't want to do any logs. So I'm going to say, you know what? Let's ignore the folder. Let's see. Let's ignore all log files, right? Okay. And we're not going to commit these log files. We're going to say ignore them. And then we're also, you know what? It has this DWLT. We're also going to right click and say ignore that particular file. Any files you see that are strange, let's ignore them. So let's say ignore all those files, and we're not going to commit it. Okay. So in this case, it's updated the git ignore, right? Now, when you first commit, it should be ignoring lots of files. Like you should be able to, if you have over 300 or 1,000 or 30,000 files, make sure you talk to me about that. But see, I'm going to commit this new game. game.unity and the new game.unity meta. Not going to commit the rest. And I'm just going to say added new, let's just call it the word, new game to project. Okay. And we're going to commit those changes. Great. That's committed. And we're not going to commit any of the rest of these. So we're going to push now. So I've got this little push to origin right here at the top, and I'm going to hit push. Hang on, refreshing, and those are committed. These other 3 changes, I'm going to ignore. So that's how you're going to get started with Unity. There's a little basics about the interface, how to add files, how to add components, and then, of course, to commit those to Git. To make sure that it's on Git, I'm going to just hit Control R or Command R, and it's going to show me where I am. It says, here's my changes. I'm just going to go straight to that repo. So it should be your repo with your username and essentials because you forked it. And then let's just double check. And here it is. It says it's added the new game to the project. So we are set. And any other changes, you're going to continue to do that same style of committing. And of course, if you have any questions, be sure to message me on Teams.